بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. Tonight's lesson will be on beginner's fiqh. Beginner's fiqh from the manual Ad-Durar Al-Bahiyyah في المسائل الفقهية. Beginner's fiqh. So we finished the section of child custody or child guardianship. Now we're moving forward to Al-Bahiyyah, a whole new field and topic of discussion. Nothing to do with marriage, divorce, separation, but buying and selling. Buying and selling. Like any other chapter of fiqh, one of paramount importance. And that's because buying and selling is one of the ways that we're supposed to use to protect ourselves against oppression and protect ourselves against aggression and to protect ourselves against unwarranted violence. Unwarranted violence. The human being is a violent creature. History, from beginning up until now, clearly shows us how violent we can be. Why are we violent? Why do we oppress each other? Why do we fall into acts of aggression? Oftentimes because we want things. We're greedy. We covet things. Or, not that I'm greedy and I covet a thing, but I need a thing. I need a thing. So one of the solutions and the ways out from the human being falling victim to forcefully taking things from others. Forcefully taking things, violently taking things from others, usurping and seizing, is buying and selling, trading. So, Akhi, I need your phone. Akhi, you, give me your phone. I need it. I have to make a phone call, quick. I need your phone. I'm serious. I need your phone. Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. I need this phone to make a phone call, right? So I can just get up and just take the phone from him. I can say, it's mine now. You can't beat me in a fight. I'm stronger than you. I'm bigger than you. I'm faster than you. You don't have as many weapons as I do. So give me your phone. Or, I don't need your phone, but I want it. It's nice. It's pretty. It's this and it's that. So one of the ways that we are to use to protect this from happening, prevent it from happening, is, Akhi, listen, I need your phone, but I have an extra tablet. I'll give you the tablet for the phone. Deal? Fair enough? Rather, my tablet costs more than your phone. This is worth more. This is a better deal for you, but I don't need an extra tablet right now. I need a cell phone. So therefore, instead of me taking his phone or begging for it, please, Akhi, please, can I use your phone? Please, please. I beg, I humiliate myself, and I harass you. A way out is to do what? It's to trade. I have something that you want or need, and you have something that what?
You want or need.
I want and or need. Everyone understand this? And it's extremely important, brothers and sisters, to understand this rationale. Is that all the time, it's not based off of greed. There are wars started because of a need. We need this oil. It's nothing personal against you, but we need oil. Without oil, I can't fly my planes. I can't steer my boats. I can't warm my homes. The light bulbs don't pop on without energy. You have an abundance, a superabundance of oil. We have a lack of oil. Instead of buying the oil, trading for the oil, our military is 10 times bigger, stronger. Let's just cross the border and take the oil. So the human being is violent when he or she needs or wants something. History has proven this to us. Whatever that thing is. So one of the solutions that Islam has provided is the permissibility and the recommendation, and in some places, maybe the obligation of buying and selling, of trading, of bartering. Everyone understand this? We have plenty of money, but we don't have no natural resources. All our natural resources are imported, but we have globs and globs and globs of money, but we have no rice. We have no iron ores. We have no uranium. We have no natural gas. We have no salt. We have no this. We have no livestock. We have no this, etc. So we import it. Everyone understand this? Or we we trade it, we barter. We give you money, you give us scientists, educators, athletes, whatever the thing is that the country wants or needs. And if it doesn't happen, if there is no bartering, trading, buying and selling, then maybe you'll give it to me, or maybe you won't give it to me. But that's another problem, and that is because man is stingy and selfish. That's another problem now. Can I use your cell phone, brother? You say what? No. Get lost. Scream. Skedaddle. Get out of here. This is my phone. Go get your own phone. I don't want your dirty hands on my phone. I don't want your people touching my phone. It's the nature of a human being. He's stingy. It's mine. No. Get your own. So therefore, I can ask you to give me the phone. You may say yes, you may say no. You may rush me off the phone. You got 2 minutes to use the phone. Only make one phone call. Or I can take the phone from you, and of course it's going to lead to adverse effects of violence, of cruelty, me harming him, him possibly harming me. So the solution is to trade. Because everyone doesn't want to get a gift. And everyone isn't kind enough. Or people are kind, but they also need things what? As well. So the dunya is based off of masalih, benefits. It's based off of pros. It's based off of I scratch my back, you scratch yours. That's how the world works. And the more you know these things and realize these things, the easier it is for you to live in this cruel world. And people will say, oh, you're just using this person, or you only want to marry this person because of this, or you only want to marry this sister because of that, or you only go there because of this, and so on and so forth. They, in most cases, don't really understand the reality of life. Life is based off of benefits. Would you be with me if I didn't have this, or didn't know this, or didn't go here? That's how it is. So the concept of being used versus being useful is a difference. And the concept of I still will be your friend. We can still have a conversation even if you didn't have knowledge. But because you have knowledge of the Qiyam, you know what? I want to hang around you up.
More.
There's nothing wrong with that. People say, oh, this woman's a gold digger. This sister's a gold digger. She's only marrying for him because of his money, so on and so forth. That's the only reason why she likes a man. She really doesn't like him. She hates him. She's cheating on him. She's using him for his money. That's one thing. Versus, he's a handsome guy. He's a nice guy. But he's not the most handsome person. He doesn't have the best personality. But he's financially secure. He's wealthy. And what woman doesn't want to be taken care of? What woman doesn't want to be provided for and have no need to work to go outside? That's the nature. That's the nature of a woman. That's the fitra. That's the asl. All right? So the concept of using someone versus a person being useful. And the concept of the worldly life is based off of what? Masalih. And one of those ways of getting those masalih is through barter. And obviously, as we have seen through history, when a human being wants something or needs something, oftentimes it's taken by what? Violence. And some of the worst wars and some of the most hard atrocities were committed because people wanted or needed cell phones. But they didn't want to pay for them or they didn't have the money to pay for them. You understand this? So this is very important to understand the philosophy behind buying and selling. And behind why it's so important for a Muslim. Everybody hearing this? Like, as far as Jazakallah khairan, I won't take your phone tonight.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe another night, inshallah.
The phone never now.
Right.
All at the same time.
So the concept of buying and selling and bartering. There are many other benefits in buying and selling, trading and bartering, such as learning about different cultures, different languages, different people, different races. And of course, every culture and every race has something to offer. Unless you feel that your culture is ultimately superior. So we talk about this country and other countries that are developing countries or third world countries. They say the people here are savages. Look how you dress, look how you walk, you're half naked, you have bows and arrows and spears, and we wear pants and boots and jackets, we have boats, we have cannons, we have compasses, we have telescopes. You can't deny the reality of history. You can't deny that there are certain things that certain people are advanced in. You can't keep saying, oh, they stole everything. You can't say that. Certain things are historically proven that this country or these people or this continent or this race or this island, they were advanced in what? In certain things. And there's nothing wrong with that. But it doesn't mean that the island or the people that they have come across, whom they call savages, are behind in everything as well. Because there are many other skills and talents and abilities in which they're advanced. And there are other things such as morality, spirit, the insides in which they are prehistoric. And they're behind 1,000 years or 500 years. They haven't evolved, quote unquote. They haven't advanced. Just because you have modern technology doesn't mean that you're what? You're instant. And you might find someone who seems to be a savage, but come and eat my food. Your place of rest is my tent. That shows you that they have been advanced. So the best thing to do is to do what? It's to merge. I buy from you, you buy from me. We trade ideas. Oh, that's how you do it in such and such a country? MashaAllah, I didn't know that. This is how we do it here. I'm from Philadelphia, you're from Guyana. This is what we do. And that's how we do it, and we learn from each other. And that oftentimes isn't possible unless we do what? We trade with each other. I have something to offer, and you have something to offer. Everyone else has something to offer. So buying and selling is extremely important in the history of humanity. In the history of humanity. And since it's so integrally important, it's impossible for it to be what? Ignored and have a side footnote in Islam. Everybody got the equation? Just like marriage. Marriage is of what? Critical importance. Due to the fact that it's critically important, Islam has done what? Spoken what? Extensively about it. Divorce. Children. Everyone understand this? And the same applies to buying and what? Selling. Trading. Also, buying and selling or trading is a major means of da'wah. It's a major way of giving da'wah. Major way of calling people to Islam. There are many countries in the world, for those who say that Islam was spread by the sword. Islam was spread by the sword. Islam was spread by the sword. The people, they say this over and over again, Islam was spread by the sword. And of course, there's some knowledgeable people who say that Islam was spread by the sword. And others, they say Islam was not spread by the sword. Whether it was or whether it wasn't, make an argument. Okay, no problem. In Egypt, there was a war. In Persia, there was a war. Iraq, there was a war. Clear, no problem. But what about these islands, this country? How many wars were there? How many brigades or cavalries went there? How many bombs were dropped on them? None. And everybody there is Muslim. Or 95% of the people there are Muslim. Or such amount of people there are Muslim. Through what? Through buying and selling. Through traders. Whether it's the character of the merchant, the akhlaq, honesty. Here, you only pay for an ounce, I give you an ounce and a half. You pay for 2 kilos, oh, you gave me 3. Don't worry about it. Enjoy it. That has an effect upon a person's what? Heart. I left my sack of gold coins at your shop. I come back the next day, I say, what? Is your sack of gold coins? Whoa, it doesn't feel any lighter. Is it supposed to be lighter? What do you expect? I'm a Muslim. We don't steal from people. Dang. You walk away from that, wow, that's deep. If it was a Christian trader or this type of trader, they would have what? Would have been a few coins missing. Has an effect upon people. And also the quality of the product. The fineries of the Muslims. They talk about rugs, carpets, textiles. The carpet shop. Everyone understand this? It means something. And what? It means something. And let's talk about America now. Because you may say, oh, well, you're talking about stack of gold coins and bartering. That's old. The modern age. How many non-Muslims know about Muslims, Muslim culture, Islamic culture, because of a restaurant? How many you know? I guarantee you, if there's a non-Muslim who eats at a specific restaurant, just a restaurant, not a mosque, he's going to be softer and easier with the Muslims. Versus a person who never ever goes to any restaurant except for the American restaurant. Everyone understand? This is reality now. You find a non-Muslim person, they say, I love Indian food. I love Pakistani food. I love West African food. That stuff is delicious. I go there all the time. And you don't think they go in there and they see Allah on the wall? They hear the Quran playing, the Arabic music? You don't think they see a girl there with a kimar? You don't think they see the people say, Assalamu alaikum, no pork. Please remove your shoes if you go into the prayer area. You don't think they see that? You don't think they took it a course in school? They learn this. So even if they're not Muslim and they're not getting dawah, they are getting dawah indirectly. And in most cases, if someone try to vandalize a Muslim store or mosque, they'll say, hey, wait, oh, stop. That's not cool. Because that's the same headscarf in the restaurant that I eat at. And the food there is what?
Delicious.
Slamming. Everyone understand this? Can we agree on this or not? It's a reality. So just due to the fact that the food is so good, and it's from a Muslim country, that in itself is a means of dawah. And that's because Muslims got it what? Muslims is alright. And the same applies to oils and perfumes. Muslims who sell incense, it's not an accident. Muslim men, they say always smell good. They always smell good. You don't think people like to smell good? Everyone is not walking into Macy's and buying cologne for $100. There's some people who want it simple, easy. That's nice. How much? And in most cases, people who sell cologne, perfume, incense is what? Muslims. And has an effect. And that's because they're associating something with something. As soon as I think about Muslim, the first thing that pops in mind is what? Smell good. Smell good. And it has an effect upon the mind. And this is why the experts of the worldly life in the dunya, when they talk about the court, the king's court, and the courtier, one of the golden principles of a courtier, it's no king now, and it's an office. You have a boss. You have a supervisor. One of the golden rules is never, ever bring the king bad news. Ever. Never bring the king bad news. Even though the king has to be told of the war that they just lost or the emissaries that were killed. But you make sure what? You got to tell them. I'm not going into the office telling them that we lost the deal, that the plane crashed, that the ship was taken, or whatever. I'm not me. And that's because whenever he sees your face, he associates it with what? Bushra. Abdurraqib equals what? Happiness. So Abdurraqib calls me, he comes. Yes, how can I help you? What can I do for you? Come in, sit down, have some tea. And that's because my mind is trained upon what? Khair. Versus Mukhtar. Man, this guy is going to bring me some bad news, man. Sheikh, I need to talk to you. No. Because I know you're going to bring me what? Some bad news. And this is why in the king's court, from the most favored of the subjects was the musician, or the joker, the comedian, or the minister that always brought good news and manipulated the other courtiers. You go tell them. But you're the minister. I know. That's why you're going to tell them that they lost. And I only bring the king what? Good news. Happiness. It's reality. So we have Muslims who are merchants of restaurants who provide good services. The non-Muslim associates the Muslim guy with what? Happiness. Euphoria. Smell good. Good food. And don't underestimate these things upon a human being. That's the point I'm trying to get to. Don't what? Don't underestimate these things upon a human. Why you love your grandmother or your grandfather so much? Every time you saw them, they would give you candy. No matter what time of the day, no matter what location, your grandmother always had an endless source of peppermints in her pocket. And the first thing she did when she saw you was what? Give you a piece of candy. So as you grow up, it's stuck in your head. Grandma equals candy, sweetness, happiness. And you subconsciously have more love for a person. And you'll be willing to listen to her more. Just think about that now. Every time a kid see you, you give them something. That has an impact upon their minds. So buying and selling, Muslim merchants, their honesty, their integrity, as we said, and also just the goodness of their product is a major means of dawah. And people don't ever believe that people are not associated with images and appearances and feelings and tastes and memories. That's human. That's the human being. As soon as I think about this person, I think about what? Goodness. And the same applies to husband and wife. Husband and wife. Every time the husband comes home, wife complains. Where were you? You're late. You didn't bring this. I called you. Oh, were you out with this woman? Or you getting another wife? Or such and such. Or you don't like me anymore. Or such and such. It's just problems and arguments. The husband is not going to feel inclined to rush home. Versus, husband comes home. His wife is at the door. Assalamu alaikum, Habibi, husband, how are you? These are your slippers. The bathtub is running. I made you some tea, food. How was your day? Tell me about your day. Please, we've been waiting for you, me and the kids. So on and so on and so on and so forth. Then the appropriate time comes. Listen, can we talk about this? Or I have an issue with regards to that. And not dead smack at the door. So the husband who encounters this all the time, what are his thoughts about that woman? When her face pops up in his head, what does he think about? He's driving. He sees a phone call, missed call. What does he think about? Does he rush to call her back? He's, oh man, such and such called me. In most cases, it's something what? Something good. I can't wait to get home. I miss you. I travel one country, I'm back home. It's time to go see my wife. Versus such and such. What you doing, Ad-Durar? Let's go get some sushi. I don't want to go home yet. You find his brothers, they stall going home. Literally. They dread going home because what? They know as soon as they get there, what? Problems. So just think about the magic that a woman, quote unquote, has the ability to put on her what? Sihr. And there's no doubt that's sihr. When a man, everything associated with this woman is happiness. I'm the source of your what? Happiness. And Fulana is the source of what? Misery. This is the psychology, and the same applies for a man and a woman as well. Everybody get the point I'm trying to make? Everybody understand this? So it's not an accident. So you have good products, you have good service, you provide things through buying and selling. It's a major, impactful style of what? Dawah. Everyone understand this? So we aren't to estimate the importance of a day and the importance of a tijara. And this is why Allah Azza wa Jalla has mentioned in the Quran several places. Several places Allah mentions the word tijara, bayya. Okay? He mentions these things. Khairan inshallah. As we have done in the previous chapters, brothers and sisters, we have to understand that when we study fiqh, we're studying the technicalities. And we can never ever strip it from the what?
Practicalities.
Spirituality. Or we say the philosophy behind it. Purification. Is it just you study Shafi'i, Malik, Ahmed, make wudu, wash yourself, clean yourself? It's deeper than that. It's something what? Internal. Prayer is deeper than just a physical movement. Everyone understand this? It's deeper than that, right? Everybody clear on this or not? Khayran inshallah. And we mentioned many examples of this before, right? We talked about the famous story of Nathan's hot dogs in the early 20th century in the United States. The hot dog cart has evolved. When hot dogs first popped up on the scene from the different German immigrants and Irish immigrants, there was a lot of controversy with regards to what went into the hot dog or the sausage, the bratwurst. And there were hot dog wars. Read the history of America. There were wars over who had the best hot dog. And it was like political schemes now. They try to discredit each other. He's using dog meat, and he's using this, and he's using that. Our hot dog is all beef. He uses pork. It's a reality. Don't underestimate this. That's why hot dogs are associated with America to this day. So Nathan was very wise and smart. And he made a business campaign. And he says, I'm going to give free lunch, hot dogs, sauerkraut to all doctors. They don't have to pay a dime in my cart. So those doctors with their white coats on were huddled and congregated around his hot dog cart. So anybody who drove by or walked by on a horse or donkey would see doctors in their white jackets eating from Nathan's hot dogs. So it can't be dirty. It can't be bad for you. It can't be unhealthy because what?
Doctors do it.
All the doctors are there. So whenever they see Nathan's, they are associated with the what?
There.
The white jacket. Representing purity, cleanliness, hygiene. And people respect doctors. Everyone understand this? Example after example after example of how people associate things with other things. So Muslims who are good merchants, they have good products, they're honest, they're on time, their stuff is the best. It's a means of people being invited to what? To dawah. And if they don't come to Islam, then we said, at least they'll be what? More compassionate and sympathetic towards Muslims. And that's because I go to a Muslim bakery. I've been there going for 30 years, every day, eating his fresh bread. You can't come and tell me the Muslims are terrorists. I'm not accepting that. What are you talking about? I go to Brother Abdullah every day. Every single day for 30 years, my stomach. He didn't poison me once. And you're trying to tell me that Muslims are what? Terrorists? And we need to make a petition to shut down a mosque. Or they can't have this Muslim library. No. I'm not signing no paper. Get out of here. Get off my property. And tomorrow morning I'm going where?
We're back to bakery.
Abdullah's Bakery. And then get some fresh Muslim bread. Everyone understand this? Khairan inshallah. Hopefully you guys can get the point that I'm trying to make. I'm not just trying to entertain you. Huh? Alright. So it says here, Kitab al-Bayyah. He says, المعتبر فيه مجرد التراضي ولو بإشارة من قادر على النطق ولا يجوز بيع الخمر والميتة والخنزير والأصنام والكلب والسنور والدم وعصب الفحم وكل حرام. Right. It says here, chapter 10 or book 10, book of transactions or business transactions. Chapter 101, types of forbidden trade. Types of forbidden trade. It says what is mainly considered in transactions is mere showing of mutual consent, even if it were by a signal from someone capable of speaking. It is not permissible to sell liquor, dead animals, pigs, idols, dogs, cats, blood, bull semen, everything that is prohibited. Towards the end, that's the only part that we read here, and then we want to go ahead. So, why does the author start off by talking about the unlawful types of transactions? What's the wisdom behind this mukhtar? Why didn't he talk about the conditions of buying and selling, the etiquette of buying and selling? Why did we start off with the haram things? Because the asl is that transactions are halal until proven haram. So it only makes sense to start off with the exceptions. What you can't do. You come over my house, right? I say, don't do this, don't do that, don't do that. Meaning, everything else, have fun. Clear on this? Right. And it also goes to show that the Muslim is responsible with what he does with his or her money. You're responsible. And you're also responsible how you make your money. And it's not just, oh, I can make the money, let me make the money. Allah is Ghafur Rahim. Khalas. La ikraha fid-deen. There's no haraj in the deen. We're living in 2020. We're minorities. So let me open up a liquor store. Allah will forgive me. It's no problem. Or it's not impermissible because we don't have an Islamic state. Or because. Is that there are rulings pertaining to buying and selling. Clear on this? Right. So he starts off the invalid and unlawful types of transactions. First and foremost, he says, Al-Mu'tabaru Mujarrad al-Taradi. What is mainly considered in transactions is mere showing of mutual consent, meaning between the buyer and the seller. Meaning, we don't have to talk. We don't have to talk. We don't have to sign a contract. There is no written document that has to be given or taken. All I have to do is show and prove that there's mutual what? Consent. Khalas. Everybody understand this? I don't have to say, will you give me your phone for a jar of Vaseline? Petroleum jelly, it's not even Vaseline. Excuse me. A small jar like that. Will you give me your iPhone 11 for
7?
Okay, 7. Sorry. Will you give me your iPhone 7 for a jar of Allah. He said the Vaseline is what? Worth more than the iPhone 7. Stop the fight. That's a low blow. Mine was a clean fight. I knew it wasn't an 11. But that was what? That was below the belt. Tell you. Revenge is a dish, what? Best served batted. I win. I didn't have to say, give me the phone, you take the jar of petroleum jelly. I looked at it, you're happy, I'm happy, what? Khalas. The reason why the author is mentioning this is that it's haram to take the wealth of a Muslim unless the Muslim is pleased. Unless the Muslim is what? Pleased. I can't just take your money, like we said in the introduction. Everybody doing this? Secondly, it is no one style or form of the transaction. And it is extremely important. Extremely important in the modern age and showing you the flexibility of the proper fiqh. And not the rigid stuff in which people try to promote on people. You gotta study this madhab. Shafi'i, he said this. Abu Hanifa, no, this type of sock is keda, and the knife it can't be serrated blade. That's what? It's rigid. It's rigid. And people, they force these madhabs upon people, and oftentimes those madhabs, those books were made for a place and a time. A culture, a language, and a race. It wasn't made for the world in which we what? Which we live. And that is why the best fiqh, and the most powerful fiqh, and the most authentic fiqh is comparative fiqh. And that's to take the good and leave off the bad. In which every madhab or statement, its strength cancels out the other one's what?
Weakness.
Weakness. Its strength cancels out its what? Weakness. Everyone understand this? Selective breathing. Selective breathing. Everyone understand this? You take the bad, you put it on the side, and you what? Take the good, and you breathe beyond that bad. Everyone understand this? So therefore, it is not a condition that it has to be in a specific form. That includes Amazon, that includes Etsy, or eBay, or this one or that one. You see it, this is the description, this is the size, the weight, you pay, and what? Class. You got it. So those who say that Islam is harsh, Islam is mean, there are too many rules, and in most cases it's not Islam, but it's the representative of Islam. And he's representing Islam through a specific culture or madhab, and that's not the teachings of the Quran and the Sunnah. That you have to be in person and touch it. That you have to ask 3 times. That you have to fill it out like this. None of that is obligatory. So that's the first point of the author. He says, Mujarradu taradi. As Allah says in Surah An-Nisa, is that you cannot take the wealth of a person illa an taradin. And that's mutual consent. Moving forward. He says here, وَلَوْ بِإِشَارَةٍ مِنْ قَادِرٍ عَلَى النُّطْقِ. Even if the person can speak. Meaning, some scholars may say it's okay to just use sign language if a person what? Can't speak. But he's saying even though we can both talk, we can what?
Ishara.
Everybody clear on this or not? Fight. Moving forward. وَلَا يَجُوزُ بَيْءُ الْخَمْرِ. It is unlawful to sell wine, to sell liquor, to sell any type of drink of intoxication. Of course, the word khamar has more than one meaning in our translation. And of course, or it's very important to understand there's a difference. Sometimes things are the same and other times they aren't. So from one aspect, liquor includes all other types of haram beverages. And sometimes liquor is what? A specific type. Wine versus liquor versus beer. Sometimes they're the same, sometimes what? They have different meanings. Everyone understand this? They have different meanings, let alone a different level of quality. And different level of how much a thing gets you drunk. Everybody understand this? Whiskey is not like what? Tequila. Tequila is not like what? Scotch. Brandy. White wine. Red wine. Sour mash. I'm sure you guys got many what? Al-Dorado. In Guyana. Everywhere you look is what? Every 10 fields of Al-Dorado side. Aged for 20 years. Johnny Walker. He said what? Never what? Never stop walking. That's their slogan. Never what? Never stop walking. White label. Grey Goose. There's so many different types of what?
Alcohol.
Khamr. Keep walking, but there's a new one they say. They say never stop walking. Yeah, it's evolved. You all dated. So the concept of khamr, and it's very important to understand that khamr is an integral fabric of society. Integral. Especially here in the United States. There's so many things based off of what?
Khamr.
Alcohol. And so many things involved. From sports, to having a baby, to having a romantic dinner. Alcohol is the default thing. Am I making this up, Sheikh?
No.
And you have to understand that. And you have to warn your children from that. Don't think it's just something on the side. It's just, you just stumble upon it. No, the khamr does what? Stumbles on you. Tramples upon you. You win a championship, you do what?
Pop champagne.
Pop bottles. Everyone understand this? You celebrate. Everybody clear on this or not? You're stressed out. I'm stressed out. I need a what? Drink. Everyone understand this? How many women are violated and abused? Through what? Alcohol. You wanted to get loose? Get what? Drink. Have some more. Everybody clear on this or not? So it's very important to understand the danger of khamr. And we've spoken on this, alhamdulillah, on many things. And we all know what some of the Salaf will say, that it states that Iblis would say, إِذَا سَكْرِ ابْنُ آدَمَ خُذْنَاهُ إِلَى كُلِّ شَرٍ كَمَا تُقَادُ الْبَهِيمَةُ بِأُذُنِهَا. Such as Wahab ibn Munabbih, some of them, they would say that it states in the previous scriptures that Shaitan, the devil, Lucifer, Diablo, whatever you call him, he says, is that when the son of Adam gets drunk We can lead them to any evil. Just like a piece or an animal of cattle is pulled by its hair. Nothing is above someone who's drunk. Chilling, sleeping around, accidental death, car accident, and then this goes on. So therefore, Islam has taken the strictest, staunchest position. No khamr is allowed to be bought or what?
So,
Sold. Period. Wine, beer, liquor, 2%, 40%, etc. Everyone understand this? Moving forward. He says, what meta? And an animal that is called meta. Here it says dead animals. And obviously that's an incorrect translation. Meta is not a dead animal. Meta is not a dead animal. If you go to the restaurant depot and you buy a complete halal goat or halal lamb in the freezer, is it dead? Is it an animal? Well, it's permissible to what? To buy. And that's because the animal has been slaughtered correctly. It has been slaughtered Islamically. By a Muslim, a Jew, or Christian, out of him, correctly. As far as an animal that was clunked upside the head, an animal that was poisoned, an animal that was bitten by another animal, an animal that got hit by a car, an animal that you just found there, is suffocated, whatever the case may be, that is called what? Al-Mayta. Al-Mayta. Whether the animal is halal with slaughter or not. A sheep that fell off a cliff and hit his head and died, it's lamb chops. But now it's called what?
Mita.
Mayta. Mayta. So Mayta is much more than just a dead animal. Mayta is any animal that has not been slaughtered what? Properly. Clearness? Whatever the reason may be. Even if the animal itself is lawful to eat, it's called what? Mayta. If it hasn't had a sharp knife across its throat. Or the animal was hunted. A wild animal that was hunted. That you didn't have the ability to slaughter properly. Everybody understand what's that? So that is unlawful. It doesn't matter what type of animal, what part. Anything that's mayta is what? La yajuz. Number 3, he says, wal khinzir. He says pigs. Not lahmul khinzir. The flesh, he says what?
Pig.
Swine. A big pig, a hog, a small little piggy, a boar, a wild boar, doesn't what?
Matter.
Doesn't matter. Anything which is called khinzir is unlawful to buy and unlawful to sell. And the author did not mention only to Muslims. He didn't say that you can't sell it only to what? Muslims. Moving forward. He says, wal asnam, idols. Idols are not allowed to be bought or sold. Idols that come from the ancient Aztec Empire. It's an artifact. The Amerindians. Or idols, this mask or this figure that comes from West Africa. It's a piece of art. It's 1,000 years old. It comes from Mali. It comes from the ancient kingdom of it. Can't be what? Bought or sold. Can't buy an idol or sell an idol. Mas'ala. Is or are those little figurines included in idols? You know, you go in someone's kitchen, they have a little owl, or they have a bunch of owls, or elephants, or rabbits. They put sugar in, or they have them on a little, the mantle or whatever. Is that considered a song? Is that an idol? What's the purpose of that thing in your kitchen? Decor. Right? So, because it's decor, it's decoration, is it now excluded from being a son? Put that there, and then put another type of idol there. What's the difference? One may ask, what's the what? What's the difference? Everybody clear on this or not? So you have to be mindful of these things. I'm not giving a definite answer, but be what? Be mindful. Toys, action figures, are they considered asnam? Are they idols? Dolls, doll babies, Barbie and Ken. Are they what? Considered what?
Asnam.
Today maybe what? Ken and Ken. Huh?
Ken and Ben.
Everybody understand this? Is that considered a song? I tell you. Alright, what are those things? Monster High, what are the things they have? They're all different
All
types.
the brass dolls.
All types of stuff. You go into Walmart or Toys R Us, whenever, and it's a whole aisle full of things that could be
Asnam.
asnam. If you think about it. Teddy bears. Some people like small teddy bears. Some grown brothers like what? Big teddy bears. You go with a brother on a dollar trip. I'm not gonna mention no brother's names. I'm not gonna call names. You figure it out. Brother staying in a hotel room with you or the Airbnb, he has a what? He has a teddy bear. My childhood what? My childhood teddy bear. Or a sister may say, bring me one of those really gigantic, big, stupid Valentine's Day bears.
Stupid.
Is that permissible? Is that a son? Can that be worshipped? Right. He says there, one can and dogs. Dogs, big dog, small dog, puppy, mastiff, bull mastiff, greyhound, Dalmatian, can be what? Sold or bought. Hunting dog, guard dog, cannot be bought or sold here. Here. Moving forward, he says, what's sinodi and felines, kitty cats. A kitten, a Persian cat, a hypo, the cat that doesn't cause you to sneeze, orange tabby, red tabby. Everyone understand this? All black, black and white, can't be what? Bought or sold. Cannot be bought or sold. Your emotional support thingy that may attack you one day, right? Or cat hairs on your throat. Can't be what?
Bought or sold.
So when you go to the SPCA and Philadelphia, obviously, or other places, and they said you have to pay $150. Is that permissible to do that? You're adopting a cat, but they still charge you a fee. Are you buying a cat, or is that just a processing fee?
It depends.
What's the difference between that and riba? It's not interest, it's just it's late fees or extra charges. Moving forward. What dem and blood. Blood cannot be bought or sold. Why? How little, how lot? Not what?
Mentioned.
Not mentioned. وَعَصْبِ الْفَحْلِ. He says, and the semen of bulls. You cannot sell the semen of a male animal for a female animal. Or included in that is renting out the bull. Everyone understand this? Let's say you have some deer. You own a patch of land. You have the cows and you have the bulls, the bucks. I have a buck, a strong buck, real big horns, right? You say, hey man, I need to make some more deer. So once you bring your buck over, what? And let him what? Familiarize himself with what? With my female deer. Clear? He said, I'll come, no problem. But you got what? Gotta pay me, man. This ain't nothing for free, not even deer love. You gotta pay for what you want in this dunya. Let alone I have to feed my bucks, I have to take care of them. So therefore you gotta what? Cash out me the money. I'll bring them over and then inshallah let them what? Let them seek Allah's provision. Everybody clear this or not?
Yes.
Or you have an actual bull versus a cow, a heifer. Or any other male and what?
Female.
Female. You want to mate. Horses.
Dogs.
Why get that? That's a big issue, breeding. The thoroughbred. It's real, it's not a joke.
The mayor.
Hada huwa. So he says these things cannot be sold or what?
Bought.
Or bought. Does that include the renting of the animal? Rent out a stud. Does that include that or not? Last but not least, he says, well, kulli haram. And anything which is prohibited, it cannot be what? Bought or
Sold.
sold. These are concrete principles here. In other words, it may not be mentioned in a specific hadith of khamr. Khamr is. Flesh of swine is. Idols are. But something which is haram, such as what? Give me an example of something which is haram. Anything. Think of something that's haram. A product. A drink. Think about something that's haram.
Wine.
Wine is khamr. That's mentioned already. You guys can't think of nothing that's haram?
Insect juice.
An insect juice. An insect that's haram to eat, nothing in, let alone the juice. Right? It can't be what?
Bought or sold.
Bought or sold because it's what? Haram to consume, haram to have. Or let's say, for example, we talk about a principle of najis. The qaida is anything which is najis is automatically what? Haram. And if it's haram, based off of this, it can't be what? Bought or sold. So let's say, for example, urine, human urine, not cow urine or camel urine, human urine is what? It's najis of a grown up. It's najis. So due to the fact that it's najis, it's automatically
Haram to buy or sell.
no. Before we get there, it's haram in itself to touch, to have, whatever. And if it's haram to keep, then it's also what?
Haram to buy or sell.
Haram to buy or
Sell.
sell. Everybody understand this? And it's not the opposite. Everything was haram isn't necessarily najis. That's another discussion. Hopefully for next week. Allah surely knows best.